Well, hello and welcome and hello. Good morning, everybody. Hello, greetings and salutations. My name is Danny Deals. The show is Un Poco Mas, where we give you just a little bit more. Today is August 18, 2023. The time is 6:27 a.m. The market's about to open in 4 minutes. Today, we'd like to talk with you about TENX Therapeutics, ticker symbol TENX. If you've been following this stock, you know it's been stuck in sort of this low 30s, 30-cent range since like April. Basically been a flatliner. There was a little bit of a pump back in March. I think that might have been on patent news, but recently we've finally seen an actual, some actual announcements. Not only that, the quarterly report, basically news of the phase 3 trial of levosimendan is going to start enrollment. They haven't started enrollment yet. Their Medpace is running the trial, which I think is good news. They're very competent, but also that adds a certain amount of cost to the trial. They just don't have the staff, they don't have the structure to run it in house. So I think, frankly, it's a good way to go. Um, as you know, the patent came through for the oral formulation of levosimendan with this certain type of pulmonary hypertension, HFpFPEF. I always, it sounds like a cheerleader, but bottom line, guys, if you go back to the Zacks analysis last year, they talk about what a drug like this is worth, what it can sell. They put a very conservative estimate of like $300 million on each drug, iminotib and levosimendan. Obviously, the company, and I think it makes a lot of sense, prioritized levosimendan 103 because there's a very high likelihood of approval because the FDA came back and changed the endpoint to the walking test, and there's already a lot of evidence that shows they are going to go ahead and meet that endpoint. Also, just taking a look at what happened yesterday, the stock's been trading pretty anemic volume, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 7 million shares traded. You can see basically on the chart, like the stock has done absolutely nothing for the last 4 or 5 months, save for a couple of pumps, and then all of a sudden, guys, you see just huge spike in volume, 7 million shares. A lot of times this stock will trade a couple 100,000 shares, on a good day. It's just basically been completely on life support, really nothing going on with the stock at all. But if you go back to this sort of 5 day, I don't know what happened. I think I accidentally, oh, there it goes. Accidentally moved my line. Does this trend mean anything from one day? No, but um, the angle of this line looks pretty good in terms of the algo coming back, testing it. Of course, it did a mini pump and dump here all the way up to 40 cents. Came back down, bounced off this line two, three times, basically barcoding there, and then they pushed it down at the very end of the day, as they're wont to do on these sort of price fixing, no volume trades, where I think the same hedge funds are basically in a circle jerk Mexican standoff situation, fixing the price and selling the shares to one another, as they have been for some time. And guys, as usual, there's like basically no news, no ratings on 10x, no nothing. Um, if you take a look at the technical analysis tool out here on tip ranks, for whatever it's worth, they're saying buy. And then if you head over to Ortex, the short interest is extremely confusing because it basically says there's no short whatsoever, and then it says cost to borrow is 200% and utilization is 10%, and it's gone up 24% in the last 3 months. But the estimated shortage, and I know this is because people were cashing in probably more cashless warrant exercises, and there's different things that are sort of problematic with the share structure of this company because they've raised money on bad terms. That they leave these warrants and options hanging over the company. There aren't that many of them left, as far as I can tell. But at the same time, it's just this data. Why would cost to borrow be 205% if there's no short on the stock and there's plenty of shares to go around that nobody seems to want? In any case, guys, TENX did file the Form 10Q quarterly report just the other day. I'm not sure when it came out, a day or two ago. Um, but in any case, it looks pretty much like we expect, maybe a little bit better. Cash on hand at the end of June 30th was 13.4 million, and they're only burning, right about 1 point. What are they burning? They're burning, right, I think it was right about like 1.2 million dollars a month or something like that. So where was the cash flow? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. Um, I have to look through these, guys. I just popped this open because this is an amendment. This was a little bit problematic. I don't know what it said before, and again, I have to go back and read these things when I have some time, guys. I strongly suggest you read all the filings. It does take time, and if you're like me and you're not, an expert on finance and corporate government and a contracts attorney, you have to go back and look some things up and ask some questions. But you do want to stay informed on what's going on. So amendments. This is from the 8K. Um, and it says the company approved the Fourth Amendment restated bylaws effective immediately upon approval by the board. The amendments enact restate bylaws, among other things, amend Article 2, Section 9 regarding quorum for stockholder meetings to allow for a quorum to be obtained through the presence in person or by proxy of the holders of 1/3 of the shares entitled to vote. So I don't know if it was half before. I believe it was. I think the reason they changed that is because um, a lot of their bullshit that management was pushing, and I don't know, maybe that was needed to run the company, but increasing the shares available for compensation. There were some other things. Those were all voted down by the stockholders because I think stockholders were upset that management hadn't been saying anything, hadn't seemingly been doing anything, and just basically sitting on their hands, or maybe the thumb was right up their butt. But shareholders were obviously just extremely unhappy, so they lowered that to 1/3. So basically, they can jam anything through. I think with their rat holes and hedge funds that are basically running this company, it would seem at this time. Um, and then which one is this? I think this is just an old restatement. Yeah, this is just a prospectus. Yeah, it supplements April 13, so this is the same. This is the same thing, but it's just supplemental, more supplemental shit. This just restating and adding back to the this basically restates the bylaws and tells you what they've changed. So, again, guys, I'd encourage you to take a look at the 10Q and just look at 10X's numbers. If you look at the expenses for the 3 months, I'm sorry, I said they were burning 1.2 per month. I apologize. 1.2 per quarter, guys. 1.2 per quarter. So they're only burning about $400,000 a month, which is really good burn rate. But keep in mind that is not while conducting the clinical trial. The clinical trial is going to be expensive. It's not going to be, insanely expensive, but they're conducting it with Medpace, so that should make sure everything goes smoothly. But again, it can just cost a little bit more money to outsource your trials. But they really don't have a choice because they've let a lot of the staff go. They're just running on a basically a placebo staff. But guys, clinicaltrials.gov basically at least got the clinical trial into the system. They have not started recruiting yet, but it is pretty much what we expected here. The sponsor is 10X, the collaborator is Medpace. This study will evaluate the efficacy of TNX 103 compared to placebo in subjects with HFPEF, and I know it's like HPEF. Somebody give me the thing that you medical people say. But anyway, it's going to be a double-blind randomized, of course. You're talking about a screening period of 30 days, and then you're talking about a 12-week randomized double-blind treatment phase. Approximately 152 patients or subjects will be randomized in a 1:1 ratio to receive an oral dose of levosimendan or placebo 2 milligrams a day for weeks 1 to 4 and 3 milligrams a day for weeks 5 to 12. Subjects will return to the clinical site at weeks 4, 8, and 12. All randomized subjects will have the option to enter the 92-week OLE following the completion of the study events at week 12. So, guys, they're looking at they list an end date on the study of 2027, so about 4 years. I don't think there's any way this study is going to take that long. Um, they only need 152 patients. These patients are very, very easy to find. The primary data readout, the endpoint will be after 12 weeks. And then there's a follow on for another 2 year study, but I don't think there's any reason that this study couldn't be finished a little bit faster than 4 year time frame. But in any case, guys, these clinical trials do take a lot of time. There can be setbacks, there can be unexpected side effects. I don't really see that here because we have a pretty known commodity and they've already been dosing patients with this oral formulation. So I don't think there's going to be any huge surprises. The phase 2 and also old data does show that this drug improves quality of life, 6 minute walking test, etc. So, guys, at least I guess the pump may have been for the trial being announced, but the fiscal management has been pretty sound. The cash burn rate at this point is very, very low, so there's no problem with that. Cash burn rate is going to increase quite dramatically once 10x gets this clinical trial going. So we'll have to just see what's happening. Could this be sort of clickbait to try to actually put pressure on anybody they're discussing a deal with, a partnership, a buyout? It's possible. If a partner sees, hey, they're going to go start this trial by themselves, and if they do that, our deal's probably off the table. That might be one way they can apply some pressure because really they don't have much leverage because, they don't have enough money to conduct this clinical trial for a period of several years on their own. So, guys, the ball is still up in the air. If you ask me, I don't really know which direction this is going to go. There's a long road ahead to get this drug to market. I don't think 10x has the wherewithal to do it right now, but at the same time, it's great to see some movement, some news, something out of the company. Perhaps the quarterly report forced their hand, but clinical trial first posted on August 9th. There's no updates as yet, but hopefully with Medpace on our payroll and in our corner, that clinical trial will get started sooner rather than later, and we will be recruiting some patients very, very soon. Guys, the stock is 10x Therapeutics. My name is Danny Deals. The show is Un Poco Mas. For Hurricane Lopez and Stock Karen, we'd like to say thank you for tuning in. It is August 18, 2023, 6:40 a.m. out here in Los Angeles. The markets have been open for 10 minutes. Let's get a check of where 10x is sitting right now. It looks like it's up 5% or 1.65 cents on the day, sitting at 34.65 cents. So did that little dipsy do, opened at 33, pumped up to 36, and then has sold off again back to 35. So she's bouncing around, guys. 200,000 shares traded in the first 10 minutes. That's a lot of volume on this stock. Probably not where it was yesterday, but definitely we're going up into the millions. Guys, we'll just have to see what happens. It's 10x Therapeutics. Ticker symbol is TENX. Thank you for tuning in to Un Poco Mas. We appreciate your viewership. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend.